Hey everyone, T.F.D back here, and this is going to be a short episode, just going over what has been going on since the last video I did on the Seadoo. Now, that was filmed I want to say the video was filmed maybe a year ago, and I just uploaded it a few months ago. So, I want to update you guys since, I figured out what the issue was. Now, the issue was the starter, after all. And so, we got the starter. It sat around for quite a while after I got all the bolts out. Got everything undone. The hard part is getting the exhaust off, I must say. So, once I got all that out, which the trickiest bolt happens to be there's one down in there. And I'll see. I don't even have that one. Oh, focus, you piece of junk. Come on, phone. Well, yeah. That I don't even have bolted down because I was getting cramps so bad. And what that does is it literally just bolted into the engine. It really doesn't do anything with leaks. As long as you have these bolts on the exhaust done, I should be fine. But what you have to do is slide it up this direction and slide it back in, kind of like that. I was having the most problems getting this back on, but I just put a little bit of oil on it and it slid back on. And these are nice and tight now. Let's see, I still have to, that's a whole nother thing. We were thinking about taking this motor out, but after I learned they have to take the drive shaft out, and then sometimes there's a tool that you have to get to line these up. I didn't want to deal with that, so I just went ahead, bolted it back down, and called it that. So, let's see, it might have been a month or so ago, I put the starter in. I actually bolted it up. Now, the reason I didn't bolt it up for an entire year after we got the starter was because I think we lost the bolts to begin with or something. I know we were having problems threading it in, so we had to re-tap them and get new screws. So after my dad tapped them, and it kind of just sat like that after it was tapped. All I had to do was install it, and I didn't do it till recently. I literally just not long ago got the starter back in. And after I got all this bolted up, then I went to go start it and crank it. I got nothing. I checked for ohms here, and I don't think. Well, no. We were getting something. So yes, it was beeping on ohms mode or whatever it was. See, I checked that, and then I checked the land guard right here. Whenever you would click it down, it would beep, it would make a noise. So these connections were fine. So I thought, well, it could be the solenoid because it wasn't crossing between the two. Because when you would jump the solenoid, it would turn over. Of course, it wouldn't start, but it would turn over. So, I bought a solenoid. That wasn't it. So, you know, after doing all these tests and, you know, going to the two-stroke Seadoo group, I thought, okay, well, the MPEM is nearly 25 years old. This was made in the module said November of 94, but if we focus on the seat, it says December. So it's, you know, I can't really tell exact date when all this was actually done. So let me show. I'll show you the module. Let's see. This is the solenoid. Here it is. If anyone's interested in a relay for a 95 GTS 587. Here's the module itself that went bad. Now here, oh, let's get it focused. Okay, this is the inspection date. Focus. That is the inspection date right there. This is the part number. Now, this is a 1995 Seadoo GTS 587 Rotax. As you can see, where is it? Yep, right there. 580.7, which is a 587. So, this is the module that goes to it. And what you want to look is some of them are different. The solenoid on this is a plug-in. So it, of course, plugs in. Now, mine, I got messed up with somewhere in between 93 and 95. They changed the solenoid. Oh, of course, I repackaged it. If anyone needs I can't say it right, MPEM for a 93 587 I can't talk. For a 587, this one does work. It just didn't, the connections don't, golly, I can't talk. Sorry about that. It didn't work on mine because the connections were different with the solenoid. So if you have a 90, I don't know, 94, 93 or earlier, Seadoo 587, I got this for free. The guy wanted me to try it, see if it worked. It didn't, so I'm just keeping it around just in case. But if anyone needs me, comment in the comment section below. We can work something out. I should have my Instagram and Facebook page in the comment section below. You can check those. Oh, also, let me add also. This battery is 3 or 4 years old, and the thing still starts and turns over incredibly. If you're looking for a durable battery, oh, it's a platinum, go figure. But this battery has never failed. Over the past 2 years that this thing hasn't been on the water, I've kept it on the battery, on and off, mostly on all the time. And even then, when it was on the charger, it would always charge right up with no issues. So I highly recommend this Duracell battery. I can't tell what the date is exactly on it, but there's the cold cranking amps. This does a very, very well with this small motor, which is only a, Oh, well, it's only a 580cc. What am I talking? But you can tell there's a stroke and whatnot. So for such a small motor, it turns over incredibly well for such a small battery. So not a shout out to Duracell, but I also have Duracell in my Firebird, and I must admit I've used it in several of my vehicles, including this Firebird. It worked fantastic for starting it. I've used it in my Firebird. Holds a charge fantastic. Starts, it turns it over very fast. And I've used it in my van. Well, that battery that I'm talking about, one for the cars. It's also Duracell. That I think we have a Duracell actually in our other van, because we go to batteries plus bulbs. They got very good batteries. I must admit, our last battery before that lasted 10 freaking years. I don't know if it's exactly a Duracell, but I'm pretty sure it is. So if you guys are looking for a battery, I can't more than likely highly recommend a Duracell battery. So, with all that to do, let me show you how it turns over now, starts, runs, and also I did one other thing, which I'll mention now to get it out of the way. What happened was this oil line right here on this side broke when forget what I was doing on this side, but it broke. So the oil lines for, I don't know, the carburetor or something are 332-inch fuel lines, oil lines, whatever you want to call it. You can look up two-stroke Seadoo oil lines, and either the 332 or I can't exactly tell you what size that is, but if you also want an oil filter, you could just look up two-stroke Seadoo oil filter, and that comes up. I replaced that maybe 3 years ago. We've maybe put 4 or 5 hours on it since I replaced it. These lines right here haven't been replaced, but they look fine. They feel very pliable, so I'm suspecting that they are fine. And let's see, did the oil lines. I put the starter on, exhaust on. Oh, that's what it is. On these, there's 2 different styles, and I can't remember what this one is right now. But this is absolutely my favorite, because all you have to do with this one is grease it up. I would suggest doing it every season, which we never did. And my dad's had this thing for 20 years, and this is the first time it's been oiled. I'll tell you how nasty this oil was, or grease that came. It was black. So I would highly recommend greasing these if you have a boot that looks like this one. But if you have the one that looks like a worm and it's got several humps, and you try running this thing, you just have to spray it down with water inside of it or around it to keep it cool. But with these, you just have to keep them greased. You just have to watch them, which I like more than having to, of course, spray the other one down, which is nice. Of course. I did that. Put this back on, and I still have to re-gap these to 0.2. I have them gapped 0.5 because I thought in the manual they were supposed to be gapped to 0.5, but I do need to readjust those. But it starts and runs fine. It's probably the top end that it suffers more. So let's turn it over, and I'll just start it for a small second just to show you guys. There There's the choke. And I'll turn it over. I don't care if it's gonna start, I'll just, here we go. As you can see, it starts and runs just fine. And you see it turns over very, very nice. Take this back out because for some reason it never shuts off. Also, I did get some, I would highly recommend getting the AMSOIL. As you know, I'm a big AMSOIL fan. So I would highly recommend the Dominator Racing Oil 2-stroke. I'll try and leave a link to this in the comment section below. If I can remember that. If you are looking for something for your jet ski, just ask for this oil and I'll give you a link to it. And what's really cool is that that's red. So, one other thing I fixed, because for some reason the cable to the oiler was broken. Or no, it wasn't broken, but it wasn't, it somehow spun out, so I had to disconnect it, wind it up, and then put it back on. Let's see, can you see it? I'm trying to see if I can get you a good shot of the oiler. That's as you see, that is moving. So I do know that it is working. Let's see if I can get you down in there. There is that. Doesn't look like it's moving very much. I might have to readjust it. Oh well, I'll readjust it off screen. But that is the adjustment thing. So that's the one I've done. That's an update on this. Runs pretty good. Next thing I have to get, or that is being ordered, it's being shipped currently right now, is the adapter, just a regular hose adapter. Apparently you can get the ones that hook on to this somehow. I will keep this if I want to go back OEM, but I probably won't because this looks very complicated. So I'm gonna just keep the one with the hose attachment. It is from Atlantis, yes, Atlantis. If you look up Atlantis flush hose attachment, regular, or something like that, those keywords, it should come up. But what I did wrong years ago in the video where I say it stalls out was because I hooked it up. I took it out right there and shoved the end of the hose right onto it. And what it was doing is it was cooling the engine fine, but what it wasn't doing is it wasn't cooling back there. So I'm supposing it wasn't cooling in the back. So with this attachment that I'm getting, it's gonna both go that way and that way. So we should be good. So after that, and I know the water's going through all the correct passages, because I still have to figure out if this hose goes here or this hose goes here. After that, I know everything's hooked up correctly, and it is not leaking here or here. then we'll be able to go down to Caesars Creek here in Ohio, which is somewhere, you know, in Waynesville, Ohio. We'll go there. Now, because of what's going on, you have to go to the lake that you go to get the new tag, which really doesn't make any sense, honestly, because you used to go to the DMV to renew these. I don't get it. So that's that. Thought I'd update you guys on this Seadoo. Hopefully, okay. Hopefully I'll be getting some, I got a hold of PwC Graphics, and hopefully we can finish this. It comes out to about here. Hopefully we can get the graphics for here and here on this side. And if you notice here, there is an emblem that says GTS right here that is also missing. This is how much gas we have. Oh, well, it is tilted up. So let's see if it goes back down. Yeah. It is tilted all the way up on the trailer, so. That's the end of this, and I think I'll take a screenshot. And that's all for this episode. I know it's kind of long, but thank you everyone for watching and tuning in. Hopefully I'll get a video coming up on our custom Firebird, whatever you want to call it. This is basically just about everything put on here. As you can tell, it does have a Trans Am suspension on it from that sway bar end link right there. That was added. Trans Am radiator, Formula hood, Trans Am fenders. Forget what hubcaps those are, but I'm just gonna end the video here, and I'll see all you guys in the next one.